All right, so have you ever stopped to think about all the pressure involved in, like, brain surgery?
Oh, for sure. High stakes, right.
Yeah, exactly. But what if I told you that there's a construction company in Sacramento that uses that very concept, that whole pressure thing, to guide their projects?
Really?
I know it sounds crazy, but that's what we're diving into today, and it's with Clearview Builders Construction.
Wow, that's pretty intriguing, I gotta say.
So tell me, what do you find most intriguing about that?
Well, for me, it's how they take this complex medical idea, intracranial pressure, or as the doctors call it, ICP, and apply it to something that seems so different, building a house.
Okay, you've got my attention now.
Right.
So break down this ICP thing for me. How does it actually work?
Well, think about it. The brain needs like a perfect pressure balance to function properly, right?
Right.
So if there's too much pressure, things get squeezed, too little, and the whole system kind of fails.
Makes sense.
And that's exactly how Clearview Builders sees construction projects.
So they're saying a well-managed project is like a healthy brain.
You got it. Smooth progress, everything delivered on time, no budget blowouts.
So are they saying a chaotic construction site is like having a migraine?
Exactly. Delays, cost overruns, miscommunication, all those classic construction headaches,
Yeah,
those are signs of high construction ICP.
I like that construction ICP.
But here's where it gets even more interesting. Clearview takes it a step further and links specific services to this analogy.
Okay, like what?
Well, for example, they compare building a custom patio to a spinal tap.
Whoa, okay, hold on. A spinal tap.
Yeah, they're talking about relieving pressure, but in this case, from your home life.
Okay, I could see that. I could see how a relaxing outdoor space could, take a load off.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just patios. They even connect glass installations with mental clarity, like good cerebral circulation.
That's interesting. So it's not just about aesthetics, but they're thinking about the psychological impact as well.
Absolutely, they are. And they even link renovations to that concept of neuroplasticity rewiring your home, just like you would rewire your brain.
So they're not just builders. They're like thinking about the well-being of the people living in these spaces.
Exactly.
This is making me rethink my whole approach to home improvement. It's not just about picking out pretty tiles anymore.
Right.
It's deeper than that.
And that's what's so smart about this whole ICP analogy. It gets you thinking about the impact your environment has on you.
Definitely. And before we get into their specific services, can you remind us where they're based?
Oh, right. Clearview Builders Construction, they're right here in Sacramento. You can find them at 4913 Rio Linda Boulevard.
Perfect. And if anyone listening wants to get in touch, what's the best way to do that?
You can give them a call at 976-420-5862. They're open Monday through Friday from 8:00 a.m. to 6:00 p.m. and then on Saturdays from 9:00 a.m. to 2:00 p.m.
Okay, so if I'm feeling some serious home ICP building up, I know exactly where to turn. But before we get into their specific services, I'm curious to hear how this whole brain building approach plays out in practice.
Let's start with how they go about creating these relaxing outdoor spaces. It goes way beyond just slapping down a patio. They are actually thinking about how to make that space a stress-free zone, your own little decompression chamber. Especially important here in Sacramento with those glorious summers we get to enjoy.
Now, Sacramento summers, those can be pretty intense, right?
Oh, yeah.
So how do they make sure those spaces are comfortable, even when it's scorching hot outside?
That's where their real expertise comes in. They consider all those factors, shade, ventilation, the materials they use. They really try to create a space that's enjoyable all year round.
So give me an example.
Let's say it's a really hot day. They might recommend a pergola to provide some shade or even a misting system.
So they're not just building a structure, but a whole microclimate.
Exactly. They take Sacramento's unique weather patterns into account when designing these spaces to make sure they're functional and comfortable no matter what time of year it is.
Love that they're bringing that local knowledge. What about those glass installations? What makes their approach stand out there?
Well, with glass installations, they really go beyond just putting in some windows. They think about the direction the house faces, how much natural light each room gets, even potential glare.
I see.
They're all about maximizing that beautiful natural light while also minimizing energy consumption.
Ah, so they're factoring in sustainability and energy efficiency as well.
Absolutely. They're very conscious of building practices that benefit both the environment and, of course, the homeowner's wallet.
That's a big plus these days, especially with energy costs going up. Speaking of rising costs, let's talk about renovations. They can be a real source of home ICP with all those decisions and potential budget overruns. How does Clearview handle all that?
They're big believers in transparency and communication throughout the entire renovation process. They work closely with you, making sure you have a realistic budget, and then they stick to it. And they're not just fixated on aesthetics, they're thinking about how the renovation will impact your day-to-day life, your well-being.
I've heard some real horror stories about renovations dragging on forever.
Right.
How do they keep things on track?
Uh,
Prevent those dreaded delays.
They have systems in place, project management tools and techniques to make sure that each phase of the renovation moves along smoothly and efficiently.
Oh, I see.
And of course, they're committed to minimizing any disruption to your life and finishing the project on time and on budget.
That peace of mind, that's priceless when it comes to a big renovation.
It is.
It really sounds like they're taking that construction ICP concept seriously, ensuring the process is smooth and balanced from beginning to end.
They are.
And I understand it's not just limited to homes, right? They apply this to their commercial construction as well.
That's right.
So they're helping businesses achieve peak performance too. Tell me more about that.
Think about a well-designed office space.
Okay.
It can really encourage creativity, collaboration, productivity, and Clearview Builders totally understands this. And they apply their construction ICP knowledge to create spaces that are both functional and inspiring.
That's so important in today's world.
It is.
You need a space that reflects your brand and helps your team thrive.
Exactly.
And they have experience working with a lot of different types of businesses in Sacramento, from shops and restaurants to tech companies and offices.
Oh, yeah.
They bring that local knowledge to every project.
They do.
Do you have any specific examples, any challenging commercial projects that highlight their expertise?
Sure. They recently completed a renovation for a local tech company that wanted to create a collaborative workspace, one that would encourage innovation. So Clearview incorporated open floor plans, flexible meeting areas, and even a game room for employees to unwind and recharge.
So they're literally building spaces for brainstorming.
Yes.
Amazing. And it all goes back to that construction ICP analogy, reducing stress and keeping things flowing.
Exactly. They get that a happy and engaged workforce is a more productive one.
It's true. This is making me want to give my own home office a construction ICP makeover. But before I get too carried away, I want to hear more about their approach to maintenance and repairs. It's not as exciting as a new patio or a fancy office space, but it's so important.
Oh, for sure. And Clearview Builders is all about it. They're big on preventing those construction aneurysms before they even happen.
Okay, so they're saying regular checkups can prevent problems down the road, just like with our health.
That's right. They offer a whole range of maintenance and repair services, from fixing leaks to replacing old fixtures. They even have preventative maintenance plans to help you stay on top of things and avoid those costly emergency repairs.
That's a smart move. It's like having a construction neurosurgeon on call to make sure your property stays healthy.
Love that analogy. They really are committed to being your partner for the long haul, whether you're building something new, renovating, or just need a few repairs.
Makes sense. And speaking of protection, I'm curious about how they approach things like roofing and siding, especially here in Sacramento where the weather can be unpredictable.
They actually compare a roof and siding to the skull and dura mater of a home, your first line of defense against the elements.
I like that.
They use really durable, high-quality materials, and they make sure everything is installed perfectly to protect your home from, rain, wind, even the occasional hailstorms we get here in Sacramento.
So they're taking that brain analogy all the way, literally.
They are. They understand how crucial a well-protected structure is for peace of mind.
It's been fascinating learning about Clearview Builders and their approach. I'm impressed by their dedication not just to building, but to creating spaces that really enhance lives, both at home and at work.
It's clear they are truly passionate about what they do and go above and beyond to deliver exceptional results.
Before we move on, could you remind our listeners one more time how to get in touch with Clearview Builders?
Absolutely. They're located at 4913 Rio Linda Boulevard, right here in Sacramento.
Right.
And you can reach them by phone at 916-420-5862.
Perfect. Now let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and delve a little deeper into the Sacramento construction market in general.
All right.
What's the landscape like these days?
Well, Sacramento's construction industry is booming right now.
Is it?
Oh, yeah, fueled by, population growth and a really strong economy. There's a big demand for both residential and commercial construction. It can be quite a competitive market.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
So what makes Clearview Builders stand out in such a busy field? What are they doing differently?
That's a great question. I think their construction ICP philosophy plays a big role in that.
How so?
It really sets them apart from companies that are just focused on, the basic nuts and bolts of construction.
Mm.
They're taking a more holistic approach, considering how their work will actually impact the people who are going to be living and working in these spaces.
So it's not just about building a house, it's about building a home.
Exactly. And I think that resonates with people, especially in a place like Sacramento, where quality of life is so important.
Right.
People are looking for more than just a functional space.
Yeah.
They want a space that feels good, that's good for their well-being, and reflects their values.
It sounds like Clearview Builders is really delivering on that.
They are, and they're not afraid to think outside the box, to challenge the traditional ways of doing things in the construction industry.
Okay, I see.
They bring a fresh perspective, and I think that's a big part of their success.
It's great to see a local business making such a positive impact.
It is. And it shows how focusing on quality and customer satisfaction can lead to success.
Speaking of customer satisfaction, what are some of the things Clearview Builders does to make sure their clients are happy? We've talked about their communication, their transparency, but what else?
They really go the extra mile to make the whole construction process as smooth and stress-free as possible.
How so?
They're flexible with scheduling, offer those personalized design consultations, even assign a dedicated project manager who's your go-to person throughout the whole project.
Wow, that's impressive, especially in such a fast-paced industry.
And they have a great reputation for using top-notch materials and working with skilled craftspeople.
Yeah,
They don't cut corners, and they stand behind their work.
that's reassuring. It's so crucial to find a construction company you can trust, especially when you're making a significant investment in your home or business.
Absolutely. And Clearview Builders has earned that trust.
They have.
Years of delivering exceptional results, building lasting relationships with their clients.
Well, this has been a really insightful deep dive into Clearview Builders. We've learned a lot about them,
We have.
from their unique construction ICP philosophy to their dedication to customer satisfaction
Right.
and their deep understanding of the Sacramento market.
For sure.
So before we wrap up part one of this deep dive, let's do a quick recap for our listeners.
Okay, so Clearview Builders Construction, they're located at 4913 Rio Linda Boulevard, right here in Sacramento. They're redefining the world of construction. It's not just about the buildings, it's about the well-being of the people who are going to be living and working in those spaces.
Right.
They're committed to quality, to sustainability, and to providing exceptional customer service. And that makes them stand out here in Sacramento. And don't forget, you can call them at 912-420-5862.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Now, in part two, we'll go even deeper into their specific services,
Yes.
exploring how they apply that construction ICP philosophy to create these really remarkable spaces. So
Yeah.
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to our deep dive into Clearview Builders Construction here in Sacramento. So we've been talking about their unique construction ICP philosophy, but now let's get specific. They offer a whole range of services, from those relaxing outdoor spaces to tackling complex commercial projects.
You mentioned earlier that they're really good at making those outdoor spaces comfortable year-round, which is so important with our Sacramento climate. What are some of the things they do to make that happen?
Well, they're masters at combining design with function. So, for example, a covered patio with a ceiling fan can make all the difference during those hot summers we get here. And they also consider the orientation of the space,
Okay.
using things like pergolas or awnings to block the sun.
It's like they're building an outdoor room, not just a patio.
Exactly. And they don't just stop at the structure. They think about the landscaping, too, incorporating drought-tolerant plants so you get beauty without wasting water. And they might even suggest features like outdoor fireplaces or fire pits
Oh, nice.
to extend the season and create a cozy atmosphere even when it cools down in the evenings.
So they're not just builders, they're part landscape architects, part interior designers.
They wear a lot of hats, that's for sure. And they really try to personalize the space to fit the homeowner's lifestyle. So let's say you love to entertain.
Right.
They might incorporate a built-in barbecue and a bar area. Or if you're more into peace and quiet, they'll create a serene retreat with a water feature and comfortable seating.
It sounds like they really take the time to understand their clients' needs and translate that into the design.
Absolutely. And you see that same attention to detail in all their services, including those glass installations.
Right. Speaking of those glass installations, we talk about maximizing natural light, but what about energy efficiency? How do they strike that balance?
They use high-performance glass that blocks those harmful UV rays, but still lets that beautiful natural light in. And they might even suggest things like strategically placed skylights or solar tubes
Oh, interesting.
to brighten up those darker corners without having to rely on artificial light.
That's smart. Good for the environment and saves money on energy bills.
Exactly. Now, when it comes to the actual glass, they work with reputable manufacturers, brands known for their quality and durability.
Okay.
And they also think about things like noise reduction,
Mm.
especially important if a house is near a busy street.
Right.
They might recommend double or even triple pane windows to block out that sound.
So they're thinking about all the senses, not just how it looks.
Exactly. The goal is to create a space that's comfortable and enjoyable in every way.
This is making me rethink my whole approach to home improvement. It's not just about picking out finishes, but creating a space that really works for your lifestyle.
It is.
Now, I know renovations can be stressful, but it sounds like Clearview Builders has a real system for keeping things on track and minimizing those construction ICP spikes. Can you tell us more about their process?
Sure, they're big believers in transparency and clear communication right from the get-go. So they'll start with a thorough consultation.
Okay. Really listening to what you want and understanding what your budget is, and then they'll develop a very detailed plan outlining the scope of the work, the timeline, and the cost breakdown. That's important. I heard some horror stories about renovations that get completely out of control, because of poor planning or unexpected issues.
Right, and they try to anticipate any potential problems and address them right up front.
I see.
And they'll give you regular updates throughout the project, keep you informed of the progress, and address any concerns you might have.
It sounds like they're taking that construction neurosurgeon role seriously,
They are.
guiding you through the whole process and making sure your home makes a full recovery.
That's a great way to put it. They want you to feel confident and comfortable during the entire renovation.
That's great. Now, I'm also curious about their approach to sustainability.
Hmm.
We've talked about their energy-efficient windows,
Yeah.
but do they do anything else eco-friendly in their renovations?
Oh, absolutely. They are committed to using sustainable materials whenever possible, so think reclaimed wood, low VOC paints. They also prioritize recycling and minimizing waste during the construction itself.
So they're not just building beautiful spaces, they're building responsibly.
Exactly. They understand that sustainability is good for the planet and for our community here in Sacramento.
Well, this has been a fascinating look at how Clearview Builders approaches residential construction.
It has.
We've covered their unique construction ICP philosophy, their commitment to sustainability, and how important customer satisfaction is to them. And in part 3, we'll switch gears a bit and see how they apply these same principles to their commercial construction projects. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been spending time with Clearview Builders Construction, learning about their super interesting construction ICP approach, where they think of building almost like brain surgery, making sure the pressure is just right for the best outcome. We've seen how that works out for amazing homes, but I'm really curious about how they handle things on the commercial side of things, especially here in Sacramento.
It's really the same main idea, but just on a larger scale. They understand that a company's space is almost like its mind,
Oh, what'd you see?
Like a small, dimly lit office that's like trying to work with a huge headache.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. So they're aiming to design places that actually boost productivity and creativity. That's a big claim.
It is, and they back it up with smart design choices. They don't just focus on looks. They'll look at how a company works, how teams collaborate, where the stress points might be.
Do you have an example of how that works in a real project?
Sure. Let's say you have a tech startup that's all about brainstorming. Clearview might design open spaces with walls you can write on, furniture that can be moved around for quick meetings, even soundproof booths for focused work.
So they're like building in those pressure release valves right from the start.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they're big on bringing the outdoors in, especially here in Sacramento. We have such great weather, so why not have a rooftop patio for breaks or large windows that connect employees to nature?
Yeah, I can see that. Being stuck inside all day can definitely add to that workplace ICP feeling.
Exactly. And don't forget about light. They're experts at using natural light
Right.
to cut down on artificial lighting. That can really make a difference to mood and energy levels. They might even use light wells or put skylights in just the right spots to brighten up areas that don't have windows.
This is making me want to check my own workspace for construction ICP. It's amazing how much thought goes into making a place that works for both the work being done and the people doing it.
It's true. And Clearview doesn't just stop at the design. They're really careful during the actual construction,
Yeah.
so they don't disrupt the business more than they have to.
That's a big deal for any business owner. Construction delays, they cost money and cause stress.
Exactly. They get it. They use detailed schedules, communicate clearly with the client, and they'll even work off hours or in phases
Oh, okay.
so they can keep things running smoothly.
It sounds like they see each commercial project as if it were their own business. They understand that minimizing downtime is really important.
That's a big part of why they're successful. They're not just builders, they're partners. They want to see their clients succeed.
Well, this deep dive is giving me a whole new perspective on Clearview Builders Construction. They've taken this complex idea, intracranial pressure, and turned it into a philosophy that guides everything they do. They're creating spaces that are not just beautiful, but also functional, healthy, and supportive.
I agree. It's been great exploring their approach and the positive impact they're having on businesses here in Sacramento.
Absolutely. So for our listeners who are ready to experience that Clearview difference, where can they find them?
You can find them at 4913 Rio Linda Boulevard in Sacramento, and you can call them at 916-420-5862.
Don't hesitate to get in touch. They offer free consultations so you can talk about your project and learn how their unique approach can make your vision a reality, whether it's a relaxing backyard space, a bright home renovation, or a workspace that boosts creativity and productivity. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Clearview Builders Construction. We'll be back next week with another fascinating exploration.